Welcome, everyone, to the Wrestler Review. My name is Dylan Gott.
And I'm John. Oh,
Oh, yeah, we can't say that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, way to go, Dylan.
I'm a PDF file. That's how they say it.
I gotta tell you, nothing is more embarrassing when people are using the online get around things in real life. I heard someone say, I'll unalive you, and I just wanted to be like, I'll commit suicide in front of your family.
I'll commit suicide, you sex.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go have segs on your corpse. Dylan's got a big thermos out. Are you about to just start work on the construction yard, you fuck?
All right, by the end of this show, I guarantee 100% if you donate to our Patreon, this whole thing is going in my butt. And if you don't donate to our Patreon, it'll already be up there.
Either way, guys, this podcast's editing with some mud and some blood.
Oh, mud.
Oh, we're going we're going for a hike, but we're using our storytelling eyes. Dylan, this week we're talking about my favorite wrestler, the Dirty Dango, Fandango.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Did you know this?
What?
This isn't about wrestling.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Do you know the word hello isn't how people used to greet each other? Hello was kind of like a rude thing to say to somebody. Like you would be like, it's over there, hello, right? Actually, this is like a little tidbit from The Simpsons. Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, much preferred the term ahoy hoy.
That's why Mr. Burns says ahoy hoy.
Yeah, that's why because he's so old, he doesn't even say hello. He goes, ahoy hoy.
And
anyway,
also,
there you go. So language just changes, John. So why don't you go have sex while I unalive your PDF file?
Hey, listen up, you motherless fucker.
There you go. I thought you were going to say, I thought you were going full slur.
I mean, I of course thought about it. I always am thinking about it. Here's what people don't realize about me. My first response is always slur, no matter what the situation.
Last week we did Sergeant Slaughter, and I would like to return to an idea from that episode where I thought about, like, oh, man, this would be a lot better in ECW because he would just go, hey, Ultimate Warrior, I'm going to dig out. Like, he would just do Full Metal Jacket. He'd be like, I'm going to dig out your skull and fuck it. And
oh, my God.
Say a bunch of
First of all,
slurs.
Iraqi sympathizer in ECW. First, someone's getting stabbed. New Jack's taking a knife to the belly, and they're waterboarding him. Sandman waterboards him with beard at the end. That's how it concludes. Here's my question. So we're doing Fandango. Fandango in ECW.
What's his babyface turn?
Fandango or Sergeant Slaughter?
Slaughter in ECW. What's his babyface turn?
He goes to the 9/11 memorial, and him and the Dudleys make a stripper show their tits, and then the fans are like, ECW, ECW, ECW. Yeah. They may have dropped the two towers, but they'll never drop these two tits.
Yeah, his valet would be Francine because she's French, and then he'd be like, Francine, show your muff. She would, babyface.
Yeah, no, that's how he turns babyface. He's like, I want you to show this fans your muff. She's like, I'm not sure, and he goes, not sure. Puts her in the Camel clutch. Biggest babyface ECW has ever seen. It's a supernova.
Dude, that's another thing. We had to do a quick episode. That's another thing. The Camel clutch is like. It's such a weird. It's one of the best submission holds, and I think the reason that it's not used anymore is because the tap out. We talked about how the tap out like changed wrestling for the better.
You're crazy. You're drunk. Are you
the
drunk
Camel
right
clutch?
now?
You can't.
Yes, you can.
Well, I mean, you can, but it's like when it's fully extended, there's so clearly no way to get out of it.
That's why. But it will look so cool if they actually did bring it back cinematically.
I didn't mean the tap.
Okay.
I meant there's no way to do the whole, like, he's climbing to the ropes thing. It's like when the walls of Jericho is fully extended. There's no way to get out of it. Well, there is, but, like, the Camel clutch, you're fucking... We've all had the experience of putting someone smaller or younger than us when we were a kid in the Camel clutch, and it's like, there's fucking nowhere to go.
When you were a kid, I did it yesterday. I was here in
you did it to your wife to show dominance.
No, I didn't do it to my wife. I'm here in San Francisco. I was down by the pier. There were a couple of sea lions.
You got to pay extra for that.
They were making honky noises on me, honk, 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 and I will not be disrespected by no fucking seal. So I put two of them in a camel clutch. Turned out they were mascots for some sort of ferry company, and I have to answer some questions with the police after this podcast.
Camel clutch also the only move where it's just the name of an animal that's associated with the reason.
What is also really interesting about the camel clutch versus the Steiner recliner version.
Steiner recliner just looks so much. It's just like, hey, I'm not hurting them that much.
Well, the difference is because there was a bunch of them that was the camel clutch, but without you putting the arms on the knees. And what a difference that little bit makes in terms of a move. Like, arms over the knees, you got Fandango and TNA. Arms not on the knees, that's Fandango and WWE. Holy shit! Segue, Dylan. Call me. So Dylan,
wow.
What did you know about Fandango going into this episode?
I forgot that Jericho match was his Raw debut. I forgot his whole heel character was, you didn't pronounce my name right, so I'm not going to wrestle. I forgot everything about him. The only thing I remembered was my buddy Bryn used to work at the Score, and he would just say, why is this guy a bad guy? It seems like his whole character is he wants to dance. And then people are like, fuck you.
Well, the thing is that was his main problem. So his name is, thank you, Johnny Harris. He gets brought into the
Johnny Curtis, not Johnny Harris.
Curtis. Pardon me, I was doing this all fucking day. Johnny fucking Curtis. So Johnny Curtis. So do you know how they came up with? So basically, he described it as like, I'm pretty sure they had a list of 100 gimmicks, and they were just going through and like, you're the this guy, you're the that guy, because literally the guy that told him was like, ballroom dancer, and he's like, what? And they're like, yep. Fuck you, ballroom dancer. And
I do like it that it's like a 90s gimmick where it's like, what's your gimmick?
It's not a 90s gimmick.
You can fucking dance.
It's a Vince McMahon insane gimmick because Vince McMahon's a child of the 50s, and a ballroom, like a man who could dance in the 50s is like a dirty fuck who's going to steal your girl. That's the thing that's so crazy about this. It's the last Vince McMahon gimmick. Do you understand that Vince McMahon was like, he made them
the last one?
Yeah, no, it's the last. Like, it is the last. This is clearly a Vince McMahon dealing with something from his life gimmick. There, a man did a tango near Vince McMahon in 1952, and Linda went, and Fandango is his revenge. Like, he's like, now who dances, you little fucker? You're not a dancer. I am a fucking dancer.
Also, Fandango, from what I know, is just a fucking part of a Ted Nugent song, which is good.
And from this research, it's also a site you can get movie tickets on. Trying to just Google Fandango information.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, all right, he likes ballroom dancing, but he's still straight, so that's why it's got Nuge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Ted Nugent. Well, Ted Nugent's song is very similar to the Fandango gimmick, but instead of how you pronounce his name, it's the age of the groupies. They're 16. Get them out of here. That's gross. It's too old. Gross. Ted Nugent likes him young.
You're too old. Run down the street in Detroit in my moped. That's right, because anyone could drive that. No age of consent.
Ted Nugent is my favorite. Like, he was always a very conservative nut bar with a bunch of guns, but what's really good now is that he has to reckon for like all of the interviews he gave in the 70s, 80s, and 90s where they're like, you adopted your girlfriend? And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And now they're like, so what about all this footage where you're like, yeah, that's cool that I did that? He's like, oh, I knew the media was bad then, so I was lying to them. And they were like, really? What about right here where it says, I know it seems like I'm lying to the media, but I'm telling the truth about how young I like these girls. And he's like, oh, yeah? Like, it's just like, Nuji's in trouble. Nuji's in trouble. So Fandango.
But I mean, he could just be like, the liberals made that up.
Yeah, but he can't because of the sheer amount of times
saying it holding up a newspaper, that's AI.
Yeah, but that's the good thing about baby boomers is baby boomers just know the words AI, but they don't actually know what AI is, so they have no ability to be like, that's AI. That's a millennial down excuse.
Daily tricked. I think it's like 50 something. I don't know what the age is, but daily on Facebook. It's funny, but it's also scary of just like seeing people who are still lucid being like, it's crazy that this happened, and then it's like a shark with legs saving a puppy out of a blender. They're like, that's AI, and they're like, it seems pretty reputable to me. I mean, CNN put it on their Facebook page. Have you clicked on the Facebook page? It's got the CNN logo, so it's probably CNN still.
Here's the thing. I recently just stopped not judging people completely based off my first reaction. And I should have been doing that more often, because since I've been doing that, I have nailed every person with a very fun to look at Facebook page. I've nailed it, because I'm no longer surprised by all those people, because I was ignoring my gut. That was my mistake. I'm back now. I'm not ignoring my gut. I'm not surprised by any of these people. My most recent example, guy in Belgium. He's a guy who lives in Belgium. He walks in wearing a Mets hat, and I looked at that and go, this guy loves RFK Jr. Within 3 sentences, boom, I was absolutely correct. Don't fuck with me, Dylan. Dylan, are you fucking with me? Let me ask you a question about Fandango.
Sure.
Do you think that he actually learned how to ballroom dance?
He did try to learn, but he said that they sent him to ballroom dancing school, and
it was too hard.
He just was like, this is insane. Like, he said it was, this is from a pro wrestler, he said, you can train a celebrity to basically be like an okay pro wrestler in a month, because you can stick them with another pro wrestler who will then basically do the match with them. But with ballroom dancing, there's no chance. So he's like, basically by just learning this, he was like, it made me good enough that I knew like one move, and then if you have to go on TV and do it every week, you look like a fucking moron. And it just reminded me of every single gimmick ever for like, hey, you're a metal guitarist.
Yeah,
Max.
This is exactly,
whatever.
Mountain
Rock. You've never done that before. And there was a version in WWF. What was the guy's name in WWF?
No, Van Hammer is who you're thinking of. Van Hammer is the Mountain Rock. Actually,
there was Mountain Rock.
Fuck you, Dylan. Mountain Rock could play the guitar. You fucking idiot. You loser. Who's bad? Mountain Rock could play the guitar. Van Hammer could not.
WCW or
Mountain Rock was WWF. He had a WWF custom guitar he would play in the ring.
Okay.
Van Hammer couldn't play the guitar.
Who was Cactus Jack's partner then in the early 90s in WCW? Who did not know how to play the guitar? Who would just walk out and hold up a guitar? Be like, fuck it, I got one. And then
I think hilariously that may have also been Mountain Rock as like Mad Max or something like that. Like I think it was like Max Payne. I think that was also Mountain Rock. But for some reason he didn't play the guitar in WCW, but he could.
He was like, I got it.
Which is even more of a WCW thing where they're like, here's a guitar, you can't play it. Oh, I can play the guitar. No. Fuck you.
Hogan said that he's the one that plays the guitar.
Yeah.
Also, you have to play songs by white guys.
Hey, do you know any songs that quote-unquote bring back Dixie? No. Well, then Hogan says you can't play.
What's Hulk Hogan's favorite movie? The Back to the Future where Michael J. Fox invents rock and roll. Teaches it to Chuck Berry, because that's how it actually happened.
Yeah. What's Hulk Hogan's favorite movie? I wouldn't say favorite, but he will sometimes just put on Birth of a Nation in a room and then leave that room, and it is never not weird.
I'll tell you what the best movie of all time is, dude. American History X before he goes to prison, brother. That's
Let me tell you,
movie ends
I guarantee,
for me, bro.
No, I guarantee Hulk Hogan's favorite movie is his sex tape. Like I know that Hulk Hogan has a tape it's a film. Hulk Hogan has a film.
that piece of cinema.
It's a cinematic experience where he fucks his best friend's wife, and as a result of that film, he has $40 million. I hate
that is true. That has a gross of $40 million.
That movie is one of the more successful independent releases of the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's Hulk Hogan sex tape, Blair Witch Project, 1 and 1.
Yeah, both of them involve some liquid on a lady's face.
So Fandango's character is also the whole Fandango thing became because Johnny Curtis himself could not say the gimmick correctly.
No.
And then the original, he couldn't say the name of the thing correctly, so Vince was like, okay, we'll make that part of the character. And it was supposed to be a male stripper to begin with. Sorry, go for it.
And as I understand it, it wasn't that Vince didn't like how, it's not that he couldn't say it, it's that for literally no reason Vince didn't like it. So Vince then was like, I'm taking over all of the promos. You are now to do it like this, and no one is going to get it right. And people everyone who has heard it has been like, oh my God, that's genius where that gimmick came from. Vince McMahon, this was like Vince McMahon's baby. He hammered it over. It's why he beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, because Chris Jericho at the time was in the Sean Waltman, you do the WWE style gatekeeper role as that sort of like high up the mid card veteran babyface tweener dude. And Chris Jericho, by the way, like
a sparkly jacket, red rooster haircut,
sparkly Chris jacket, Jericho. Red rooster. Chris Jericho's so angry about being in this role because Chris Jericho. Okay, Dylan's got to go. So basically, how Vince McMahon loves this character. Vince McMahon is obsessed with ballroom dancing. I don't believe he was supposed to be a male stripper. Basically, it's like you're a fucking hot dancer who's a bad guy. It's a version of Rick the Martyr Martel, basically. They're like, you're Rick the Martyr Martel, but your arrogance is your sick dance moves. And this fucking thing gets over so hard, and it immediately escapes wrestling because the Opie and Anthony show becomes obsessed with Fandango, to the point he goes on the radio show, walks out because they won't say his name right, and keeps calling the show to give them an opportunity to do it. There's a very weird video of comedian Jim Norton oiling Fandango's abs. It's a very bizarre radio segment, specifically because it's a very visual, and radio is an audio medium. But Fandango escapes the WWE almost immediately in terms of something that's happening in the culture. They don't recognize that they have the first of our 3 matches, Fandango versus Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is visibly upset about being there. Chris Jericho is wrestling's mean girl. I really enjoy this stage of AEW because it's just everyone truly being themselves, the wrestling company. And Chris Jericho is just a petulant loser who is the best equipment manager the high school has ever seen, and he is convinced he's the quarterback. Like,
yeah, he's the best. He is like truly the best assistant GM ever, and yeah, exactly. But I will say this about Chris Jericho. I think he first of all, I think he would be like a very good territory heel. 8 weeks, get over, guy beats you, you're gone guy. Every time Chris Jericho is a heel, he should be in the main event. Every time he's a babyface, he should be shot in the alley because he just is. The thing that makes him an effective heel just does not make him an effective babyface, where like even the fucking him saying Fandango's name wrong and being super annoying about it is like, man, shoot him with a gun. Like it's so annoying. He's so Fandango, and then you're like, I don't want either of these people to win. I want them both to have a dual heart attack.
Yeah, is it
storyline?
Hi, WWE creative. Hi, it's John. Is it possible that both guys get full-blown cancer in the ring and I see them die?
But like, what makes a guy likable? And just Chris Jericho has none of it. None as of a babyface.
No, but he has none of. Chris Jericho doesn't Chris Jericho is a fascinating person, and then Chris Jericho's like, yeah, everyone likes me. My dad is a very famous athlete in the town, so I'm like beloved. I support the president's son. I'm a beloved figure. I pay less taxes than they do because of a shell corporation. Everyone loves that.
Yeah, well, I will say this before we're talking about. This is from those Chris Van Vliet. He did an interview with Johnny Curtis, and he talked about how they pitched the character to Kurt Hawkins.
This is the wildest thing.
Kurt Hawkins just said no and then just went home. It was like, I'm not doing this.
By the way, you really can tell that man's Kurt Hennig's son from that story right there. Because like Kurt Hennig's also a guy
Kurt Hawkins, not
Joe
Hennig.
I always took it as it was Curtis Axel. Because he was briefly in a tag team with Curtis Axel, so I was always like, oh, fuck, I was picturing it as being Curtis Axel the whole time. Fandango Curtis Axel would have been so good, too. Just not even dancing.
Period Hawkins was one of the edgeheads, and he was like, I'm not doing that.
I don't count the edgeheads or members of Legacy as ever happening. That period.
I love the edgeheads.
No, that period of wrestling is like the community season that they just claim happened during a gas leak. I don't acknowledge it.
I mean, I love the edgeheads. I will say this, though. Like, yeah, it's weird to see how it comes where it's like, I think it was like Michael McGillicuddy doing a normal gimmick, and then Johnny Curtis was trying out being a male stripper, so he'd just like give a lap dance to someone. Well, Michael McGillicuddy's gimmick was like, can you please stop this? So
yeah,
it's like
their tag team was husband who can't find his wife, male stripper who just fucked her. Where's Deborah? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I know what Deborah smells like, though. Why would you say that about Deborah? I mean, where's that tag team? Where's that fucking tag team? I mean, look. Vince McMahon,
Cuckold and Bull.
Oh, Cuckold and Bull. Where the fuck is that? I mean,
we come up with some pretty good polyamorous guy. Polyamorous guy who needs you to fuck his wife, cuckold and bull.
Polyamorous guy who needs you to fuck his wife is their manager, and they keep having problems. They're like, we get it. We need you want us to fuck your wife. Just stop bringing it up.
The bull
during
keeps
the
wanting
match.
to wrestle because he needs money, and the polyamorous guy's like, no, just fuck my goddamn wife.
Yeah, just fuck my wife before the match, man. I'll be looser when I get out there.
Yeah, it'd be fun if the bull was a small guy with a big dick, so the bull just kept losing a match, and the cuckold was really strong.
I've never met someone who's been a bull, but I guarantee that they all really are proud to let you know that at a certain point. Yeah, I'm a bull. I go over to married people's house, I make the husband cry jizz.
I feel like part of being a cuckold is that you're rich.
I agree. Yeah, there's no poor. You're not having.
One poor is like, I wish someone would bang my goddamn wife.
Yeah. Like no one's got a cuck chair in a bungalow. You know what I mean? You need. Like, I think that
it's so funny. Also, like having an argument with young comedians where they're like, "What's that chair doing in a hotel room?" That's the cuck chair. I'm like, no, it's so you like have somewhere else to sit other than on your bed because that's depressing. And then they're like, no, it's the cuck chair. And I'm like, no, man, it's for reading. But I guess we're so past reading. The only thing you could think of to do with a chair in a room with a bed in it is watch someone fuck.
I'm not saying that porn has rotted our minds. I'm just saying that I am one of the pornier people out there, and I never once looked at the hotel room chair and thought, that's where a dude sits when someone's fucking his wife. I just assumed you got to sit on the bed. Why would you want to sit so far away from the action? I want to be close. I want to be hit with the sweat.
I just would like, I mean, you just like look at, it's pointed towards the window so you can read and look out the. Anyway, you know what? We're fucking middle-aged men, and that just proves it. What is sex? No, it's so you can eat a salami sandwich.
It's a good place to listen to your Audible audiobooks.
You sit there and you do Kegels.
Am I the only one that feels somehow we've gotten funnier now that we just have wrestlers to bounce off our horrible jokes? When we were doing online figures, it was too human, but luckily we've returned to wrestling, where each wrestler is the perfect wall to bounce our bouncy balls of cum jokes off of.
I'm cutting that part out. No,
you're not.
Just as funny the whole time.
No, you are not. You will not cut it out. I listen to these episodes and don't tell you. I know how little editing you're doing.
Here's what I like about the Fandango Jericho match is that they just fucking tried something.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I also really like that after all those dance moves, he does exactly one move. He has the most elaborate entrance. Like, nothing says Fandango is winning this match. Like, his entrance is literally a quarter of the entire length of the video, and Chris Jericho, like, they speed up his track so we'll get to the ring fast. Break the wall. Just get to the ring, Chris. Like, it's very funny.
Well, it's like Rooster. It's like fucking red Rooster hair, sparkly jacket Jericho against Fandango. Fandango comes out, terrible dancing. Jericho dominates the whole match.
The whole match. It is a real... Yeah. It's wild. It's a real Hulk Hogan.
Like if you're going to put a guy over, put him over. It's one of those where it's like, yeah, I understand you have to like keep Jericho solid, but you can also like have Fandango fucking win.
So I looked this up because I just was fascinated because Chris Jericho has just really become history's greatest monster in my eyes. He did the Holocaust, as according to me. Anyway, he was fucking pissed he had to do this match, and clearly he's the veteran, so he got to set the pace, and I guarantee he was like, yeah, you're winning, but first I get to beat the living shit out of you. And it's 2010's WWE, so I guarantee John Laurinaitis with an active hard-on was just like, har, yar. Yeah. He doesn't like getting hurt, right? No, he's fine with it. No, he doesn't like it.
This. You look like one of the Desperate Housewives, that little haircut, Chris. Why don't you show your tits?
Well, I do wrestle with my shirt off.
Good. Oh, yeah. I never noticed that. You got your tits out.
Hey, Chris, did you know that men have tits? Which means you can
That's
fuck
fucking
a man.
awesome. I have my own tits.
I got my own.
Off.
Sometimes I look at my wife's tits and then my tits and I say, it's like we're fucking lesbians.
We're a couple fucking dinner munching lesbos here.
Hey, it's me, John Laurinaitis. Isn't it fucking weird I have a job when really what I do is just put my boogers on various female employees?
You riffed too hard and you broke the internet, bro.
I know my John Laurinaitis booger riff went too far and I'm really pleased about it. What else I'm pleased
about.
about?
I do like the Fandango, they try something. It's like, here's a character that's a definable character, because so many of them, like in the 20s, in the 2000s, and in the 2010s, they had such a glut of second-generation wrestlers. It was like, well, not everyone's character can be that they're a legacy wrestler, so what's Michael McGillicuddy's character going to be? We're not going to talk about how he's Mr. Perfect's kid. How about it's that he wears orange boots instead of black boots? Like, it's like that, just nothing. He's a heel because he's mean.
Well, because it's also that it's a period of time where the guy who is in charge of the creative of the company doesn't want to be reminded he's about to be in his 70s. So nothing can be a cultural reference unless he comes up with it, which is why it's like, oh, he watched Full Metal Jacket yesterday and didn't understand it, so there's now a wrestler who's a gopher. Wait, how did he get gopher from Full Metal Jacket? I don't fucking know, man. The sound was off. Just fucking make me a gopher costume. Like, that's what that's what the creative was of the WWE, and why Fandango is actually this weird breath of fresh air is he's like this fun, light thing. But what's also amazing is he illustrates exactly the problem, which is the fans immediately are like, this is fun. We want to dance. And immediately the WWE is like, no, he's a bad guy. And they won't pivot or roll with it. And you basically, his entire push is killed the next night when he becomes the most over guy in the world. And all they needed to do was one subtle different thing at the end of the next match. And I think he could have been an intercontinental level good guy for like 4 years. So they have the Chris Jericho match. Fandango wins after a bunch of leg drops off the top rope. Fandango, by the way, now a much better wrestler in TNA than he ever was in the WWE or ever had any opportunity to be. Chris Jericho is also clearly actually punching him a couple of times because he puts his legs up to push Jericho away from his body, which is a very fun moment where it's just like, man, Chris Jericho, AEW does something to people where they just get there and they're like, I'm going to be exactly who I really am. And I'm going to act like these aren't cameras. Because you're just like, yeah, I feel like the guy that's like, hey, lady wrestler, you want to come to my room? No, fire her. Yeah, he's going to actually try and fight a guy at WrestleMania. And then, Dylan, after this match, we move on to our next match, Kofi Kingston versus Fandango.
So
they had
first
this
thing you have to mention
times.
is that, just 1 second, is that he, within the first debut match where he does beat Chris Jericho, it's by a roll-up, so it's a fluky, and also Jericho kicks out of his finisher in his debut match.
Yeah.
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 Like, top rope leg drop, kicks out of it. And I think that during this time, and I think a pivot that Chris Jericho should definitely make is like Tea Party Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I completely agree. He needs to be like oligarch backing Chris Jericho. Like,
yeah,
he literally
Jericho
showed up
should
in
drive a Tesla to the ring.
Oh my God, if he showed up in a Cybertruck next, like,
hell yeah.
And he was, we need to cut efficient. We need to make AEW more efficient. All efficiency wrestling, right there.
That's
Do I need to fucking do everything, Chris?
That's great. And then he tries to, and he just tries to fire every wrestler. So it's just him versus Jon Moxley. That's his heel gimmick, is that he wants to wrestle Jon Moxley for 2 whole hours every single week.
Yeah, and and he can bring back, and it will be armbar, the most efficient wrestling hold, armbar.
No, nothing fun. But yeah, I mean,
there is nothing fun about an armbar. Stop. We're not moving on in the program until you admit there is nothing fun about an armbar. Admit it now.
There is nothing fun about an armbar.
Thank you.
Here's what I'm saying though: is all you need to do is get Chris Jericho to watch him piss.
Yeah.
Get him to fuck his own dad.
Yep, you're right.
That's it. Babyface heel. Get him to fuck his own dad.
I don't know. I'm going to assume that Chris Jericho has never fought his dad. So everyone I know that is a son or daughter of an NHL player, they are one of two ways. They're a real prick if they've never physically fought their dad. But if they have physically fought their dad, they actually have good balance in their life because they had someone in their house. No one is more of a prick than an NHL player in Canada. They were literally like, who's that? Well, that's God's favorite human right there. They didn't learn how to read or speak any language, and they still got 7 figures, and they're going to fuck your mom. They don't need a cuck chair. You know what I mean, baby?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
They cheat on your mom telling people it's open except for the person who they're cheating on.
Yeah, they cheat
on
your mom, but they do it in such a way that she has to find out. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it at the neighbor's house in that bay window, Dad? Your mother's tears are the lubricant I need, dear.
And just having Fandango like dance. There's like little fun things they could have done, like With WWE, it's like you get a chance to work your gimmick for like 8 seconds before you're on television. But if he would just been like, I don't know, do the whole match dancing for a bit, or like just get some squash matches in,
or just keep trying to dance with Chris Jericho. But the thing with the Jericho match, and then we'll move on.
That's a babyface thing, sure. That's too fun.
Yeah, but you also really get the sense with Chris Jericho that Chris Jericho was not cooperating. Like, you really get the sense that Chris Jericho's
yeah, he's probably pissed. He's like, okay, so this guy's gimmick is that he likes to dance, and then you have to say his name wrong.
But here's my problem. Chris,
name right.
But Chris Jericho always does this where it's like, the gimmick's ridiculous. And it's like, Chris, all of your gimmicks are ridiculous. Your gimmicks in AEW are, I'm in the band Poison, but I'm also fucking cool. Or... I'm in the band Smash Mouth and I'm fucking cool. Or I'm a wily veteran who has the worst chest in the world, but I'm fucking cool. Like, no, Chris Jericho has some of the worst gimmicks ever. His gimmick in WWE at this point is, hey, I'm a guy who hangs out at a lot of clubs. You know what I mean? They're pubs and clubs.
No, because later on they're going to have a DJ.
Yeah. Chris Jericho is really guy who really brags about the appetizers at a nightclub, dude. That's his gimmick right now. Yeah, I still use a BlackBerry.
Yeah, we're having wings now, but after that, they'll clear the tables out and we actually dance.
Yeah, you may not know this, but if you tip the busboy enough, he will sell you cocaine.
So, next match, Kofi Kingston versus Fandango. This is
90-second
height of how terrible the fans got, where there's like, I think after the day after WrestleMania, when it's like, there's no AEW. There's no hope for anything that could be interesting. For whatever you want to say about AEW, it was transformative in that, like, they had to start trying.
Yeah, they had to actually be like, well, I guess we can't have a wrestler whose gimmick is getting the fans vaguely excited, and then we fully kill that wrestler on television.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't push people just to have it work out and then just start making them lose just because we want people who are balding to be sad. Although that is a pretty good business model.
As it turned out,
we just kind of trigger guys who have bad diets.
Yeah, hey, you know those guys that like order weird extras at a restaurant? Like, give me extra cheese on that cheeseburger. I'm gonna make them fucking cry, bitch.
Yeah, here's my business model. If I see someone confidently order a Coca-Cola and they're over 35, I try and ruin their main hobbies and interests. That's my business model. So we're Disney. We're planning to buy Star Wars because I saw a guy fucking order a Diet Coke and then he got a refill. That filled me with a level of rage I'd never known. So we're gonna have a little show called The Mandalorian to try and just stomp on that guy's fucking happy.
Do you want to fucking know who I'm out to fucking get? Those motherfuckers ordering a soda like it's a coffee in the morning. I'm gonna make those motherfuckers cry. Oh yeah.
I don't get a coffee. I get a large Coca-Cola 4 in the morning. I said, that sounds bad.
That's one of the most crazy things. No, oh my God, there's nothing more fucking nuts than just like, hey, what are you doing? I'm just fucking getting ready for my day, having a full 2-liter of Coca-Cola.
McDonald's large Coca-Cola in the morning should be probably spoken to. We're going to send you to our manager here. He's actually going to reprimand you. We have to.
I just want to let you all know that you're no longer welcome at this McDonald's because every time we have to give you this much soda in the morning, I can't stop crying.
So Kofi Kingston versus Fandango. People start fandangoing. It's really more about the crowd.
Not people, Dylan. Let's get
it. Brendan Burns.
Yeah. Our friend Brendan Burns claims that he invented the Fandango dance, and I will never fucking let him claim this because he didn't. And his evidence is that looks like me doing that dance, which is some of the greatest evidence to present ever. I'll tell you why I invented the phone. Seems like something I would do.
And then there's me, who invented electric cars, because one time I used a remote control car, which is electric. First of all, it's battery. Second of all, someone else made that, then you used it. I don't think you understand.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe I was talking, but you weren't listening because I said I invented the electric car.
Wrestling fans have a lot of fun archetypes. Guy who thinks they invented X thing. My personal favorite, this guy was around for a long time until literally some of the members of this faction have died of not even just natural causes, but guy who said the NWO was coming back, guy who said that WCW was coming back. He's like, actually, they're bringing the NWO back. It's like, well, it's 2017. If they did that, it'd be to retire them.
Yeah, it would
they
be
might retire. Yep. No, they're going to come back and beat Stone Cold, who's also coming back.
I mean, what is really good is that guy's now turned into this person's going to AEW guy or this person's going to the WWE guy. Like, it's basically they've just become MJF is going somewhere guy, which is also really enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing truly finer than the people who spend their spare time talking about wrestling contract status.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't know Sean Ross Sapp, but I guarantee he is not fun to hang out with. Like, someone who is that keyed into wrestling, yiper diapers. Just, his name actually is Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Yeah, that's good to know, Sean. Yeah, I've been to his house. He doesn't know that, though.
There's a recent interview on the Pat McAfee show with LeBron James where he makes fun of a bunch of NBA reporters, specifically Brian Windhorst, because Brian Windhorst kind of reports all the LeBron news. And he goes like, it's fucking weird, man. These guys say they're my friend or they think we're friends, which I feel like Dave Meltzer felt that and just stopped in his tracks when LeBron James said it. So I'd say the Fandango character can be boiled down to this. At one point in Vince McMahon's life, he met a French guy who danced, and that fucking stuck in his craw until this character came out.
I don't even think it was that far. I think he danced at his wedding, and he noticed that one person didn't compliment him on that dancing, and ever since he has declared war on the ancient art of dance.
He comes out, though, Fandango does, after a week, and then they're just so bored by Fandango versus Kofi Kingston that they just start singing. I think that's lost to time. It's not like they started, oh, shit, I can't wait to sing this song. They just started doing it to, like, kind of make fun of the match, and then they liked how they performed it.
What I wish they had just done is gone with it a bit more and had Fandango be resurrected after the Jericho attack by the da-da, da-da-da-da. Because all they had to do was if they had just said to him in the back, we're going to zoom in on your foot, start tapping it to the beat, and have it like resurrect you, he would have been the biggest baby. Like, they could have right there been like, fun. You are the road dog of the PG era. That is what they could have absolutely done. But it was a period of time where performers were not given any sort of encouragement to do stuff on their own. And Vince McMahon's not doing something fun and cinematic like that, because he would be like, no, that we might have to include a xylophone noise in it, and that's for ladies.
I will say that Fandango, you're right. Fandango's a gimmick almost specifically made for Chikara or the Indies. And it was not on the Indies, so it's like, you can't fully just be like, this gimmick's dumb. Even while he's, like, knocked out, he should still kind of be dancing. Like, he should be dancing every single moment, learn how to do the entire match while dancing. Instead, it's just like he dances, then he's a normal wrestler, then he goes, you don't say my name right. Instead of being like, this is a man whose body cannot accept he is not dancing at all times.
What I'll also say is that they really fucked up by sending him to ballroom dancing school as opposed to just being like, learn a bunch of dance moves. And to your point of like, anytime there's space in a match, just do the YMCA. Like, if like literally throw a punch and then just go like ba da 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 da. Da, 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 da,
I mean,
that's the
do the Macarena a ton.
How fucking fun would that wrestler be? Like, I got news for it. If you did, they could literally do it right now with JDC, John Dango Curtis, which is that's who he is in TNA, and I would fucking love it. If it was just he just danced, it'd be really fun.
So yes, he does the Kofi Kingston match. They sing the Fandango song. I watched some stuff of the follow-up. Like, what do you do when you really strike fire? Like, this went to this is back when streaming.
Oh yeah,
there was an iTunes chart.
The theme went to number
2 on the iTunes. Yeah, people started playing it at games. They got a lot of great footage of people doing it in public. They really did put it over because, like you said, it was Vince's baby. Now, they didn't do this for just everything, because when the Yes chant went super viral
they tried to
and
destroy
everyone
it.
was doing it, they didn't show shit. Like, they literally, I think the World Series champions had him come out and do the yes chant after they won the World Series, and they just didn't. They were like, no, we need to fucking.
Well, and this is in the same year, and what it is that it's all of these companies learning the power of social media and the internet. It's 2012, 2013, 2014, and it's clearly Vince McMahon being like, I am not pushing Daniel. You have to remember, this is not pushing Daniel Bryan. Fuck you. You can't make me. I'm not gonna do it.
This guy loves to fucking dance. He's gonna fucking dance. He's going to dance the way I like. I don't like that they like his theme song. Fuck that. I don't know what his character is, but he's fucking doing the name say wrong thing. He says Fandango. He comes out the week after. You're right. This is the time to be like, day after WrestleMania, no stress. You don't have enough time to make a plan for this character. But you have 7 days now. What do? He comes out and he goes, oh, you didn't say my name right, so I'm not doing the dance.
Yeah, they keep leaning into him being a heel, and it just fucks him. Because it just derails everything. Yeah. No one cares. And
if anything, it should have been Jericho turns heel and then is like, you beat me, fuck you. Yeah. Now you guys don't get to hear that song.
Yeah, and it should be every time he tries to do it, Jericho attacks him. But I also guarantee Jericho's like, I'm not working with the dance jobber again. I get, because Jericho, it's also just like,
yeah, he wants time off to be like, everyone needs to forget that I jobbed to the fucking child.
I have to stop. I can't appear on television. I'm here to save us. Fuck off, Chris. And then what happens is he goes with the other genius gimmick of this time, social media influencer Tyler Breeze. Speaking of Brendan Burns literally thought Tyler Breeze, he thought it was the greatest heel ever. It's perfect.
It's another one of those gimmicks where they do it in NXT and it works well there, and then they bring it up to the main roster, and they have to explain to Vince McMahon what Reddit is. He has a small stroke and says no, and then they just change it.
Yeah. It's that very classic thing where it's like, hey, Vince, here's what this is. I don't know what that is. Okay. So we can agree that what I believe in is the real thing that everyone agrees on, and what you think is a weird version of that you've just made up in your head. Yep. We're doing my version, though. Okay. That's why things are so weird. It's the craziest thing to watch a wrestling product now, just because you're like, wow, it just makes more sense because it's not being dictated by a man with Alzheimer's and a sex addiction.
Yeah, and also, I've said this before, but it's like, this is when Triple H's good booking is because his crazy hasn't set in yet. Tony Khan was doing a great job, and then he did it for too long, and he clearly needs a vacation. He's overworked, and now his ideas are bad.
Yeah.
And the only company that's ever done it was Criminal and Criminal Pervert, Lawler and Jarrett, where they would take time on and time off because they know that it's exhausting coming up with storylines.
It's also, by the way,
having to manage those people's gimmicks and stuff.
And even if you look at the Memphis storylines, they weren't as good as you remember. There's full 6 months where Jerry Lawler's in charge, and he's like, it's a guy dressed up like a lady who I want to have sex with. I have sex with her in the ring. I win. Wait. You're going to fuck a woman in front of all those fans?
Prom, they get to say hi to me.
I go to a school. Some stuff happens we're not going to talk about, but I'm welcome at that school anytime. That's what I say. And I'm like, wait, what? Anytime I want to go to the school, it's fine. I don't think it's fine, Jared. It is.
I'm the principal of a school. Everyone leaves me alone. No one asks any questions. Yeah. That's my gimmick.
Okay, here's my gimmick pitch. Do you know Catholic priests and what they do to kids? I do that. Wait, what the fuck are you?
I'm like... And I'm a face.
Yeah, and everyone has to cheer and pray for me. I'm Jerry the God Lawler.
Anyway, but that's what I'm saying is that, yes, obviously a man whose mind is deteriorating, who kind of openly refuses to engage with the public.
Yeah,
is not going to write the best wrestling.
And you can tell that because then we fast forward. He's now ensconced in a tag team with Tyler Breezango. They're super fun. They have a match. Our last match is them versus the Ascension. And holy shit, did I forget how good the Ascension were as wrestlers. All four of these guys are actually incredible wrestlers. Never given a chance at this time. Not even fucking close to a chance. Fuck you. Oh, you guys are the Ultimate Warrior Legion of Doom poo. Fuck you. And you guys are too small. Fuck you. That was what was happening in the back. And this match is 3 minutes of gorgeous bumping. Bump for me, boys. Bump, 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 bump.
It is jarring to see this match after we watch early 90s wrestling where it's I'll fall to a knee. That's a big one for me versus, just like everybody just like fucking splashing the mat. Just like jumping on
God.
You take a punch, you bump off the punch. Like, I think that's one of the major changes is that no one used to bump off punches. You would just get wilted and put into the corner. And then now if you get punched, you take a full you throw yourself onto the apron and just like take a header onto the ring steps every single time, which I think is obviously it's good and bad, right?
Well, there's a new regulation. If you don't sell a punch like you just got given, you're like Owen Hart just gave you a botched tombstone pile driver at SummerSlam 97, you're fucking fired.
I will say that about Austin, where it's crazy to think back on that almost ending his career, and I feel like I see a version of that every TV show of just a guy being like, I'm gonna dive just fully downwards onto the ring apron, and they're like, I might be out for a week.
Yeah, I mean, the Steve Austin thing is crazy because it's like, it should have ended his career, but he was able to keep wrestling. Well, no, he more just ignored the fact that he couldn't feel his legs for 2 years so he could make like $40 million. Was that worth it? Probably not.
Well, I mean, he can walk now. Good for him. So this is a lesson to you guys. If you have a debilitating injury, just say no.
Yeah, stop being such a puss and keep fighting through it, and make sure you drink.
Yeah, make sure you do drinks and not uppers and downers. So they turn into what I call sidewayers, where you're just fucking regular, but no one likes you.
Yeah.
Anyway. So this is an important match because we have matches here, so we don't want to rewatch all of the vignettes these guys do with the Ascension, but basically there's an entire storyline of Breezango and the Ascension just wants to be friends with Breezango, and there's one really weird one where they do like a Saw parody where Breezango solved this puzzle to get out of the Saw thing, and then this poison gas is supposed to come in, and they untie themselves and leave, and the Ascension is there with this poison gas, and then Fandango comes back just to get his hat, and then I guess the Ascension die? This is like a lot of WWE stuff where it's like, stuff for the website specifically, where it's like either A, really high concept, or B, nonsensical, and they're like, if you're watching this, you're the problem.
What it basically feels like when it's WWE.com exclusive content is it's the same guy who made the Tim White suicide lunch specials, but he's just like, he's proud of those. We got to do that again.
And people did not I remember wrestling media not liking the Tim White
Oh my God, it was.
But also, it's like
it was crazy.
It's Adult Swim stuff, yeah.
It was crazy they were doing. It was also crazy that the other thing that was exclusive was John Cena answering questions. WWE.com's 2 segments were 5 questions with the champ or a man pretending to commit suicide.
a guy repeatedly trying to commit suicide. When every single week there's a new suicide in your industry, you're like, "Fucking, this guy's trying."
Fucking
losers.
This guy can't even do what Tess did. Isn't that fucked?
Yeah, there was one where Tim White just laughs at Tess for being dead. I thought that one was my favorite.
I mean, my favorite one is the one where, for some reason, Tim White full dies, but then Vince McMahon makes sure he doesn't go to heaven. No.
I don't know if that was a real one, but I could see a path to it being real, which I like.
Do you think that when Tim White was about to kill himself in one of those vignettes, he thought, well, maybe I get to see Andre again?
No, I think that Vince McMahon said, I want to cut you, and Tim White said, I had a contract, that he said, okay, I have vignettes then.
Yeah, that's very true. There is nothing worse for anyone in the world than signing a long-term contract with Vince McMahon when he no longer wants to work with you, because suddenly it's like, my job was to be a professional wrestler. Now I'm being paid almost $1 million a year to have a man fart in a glass, and then I have to pretend to drink it like it's milk.
Yeah, like Mark Henry is so...
Mark Henry's the best. Mark Henry's the best.
But he's also so lucky that he turned out to be a bad investment in 1998, when the most Vince McMahon would punish you would be like, here's an embarrassing character. If he had that same thing and turned out to be a bad investment in 2010, he would just have been molested.
Oh, no. You haven't been watching them. Mark Henry has started doing shoot interviews, and they are phenomenal. So one of the things that Vince was encouraging all the wrestlers to bully Mark Henry in that time period when he was proving to be a bad investment, so he would quit. And this is why Vince McMahon's not a real smart guy. It's like, wait a minute. You're encouraging all of these fake fighters to bully the literal world's strongest man. Okay. All right. How's that going to go? And apparently JBL was the real ringleader, and Mark Henry found him by himself in an arena, walked up and went, I found you by yourself, John. This is the last time the bullying happens, or I'll find you alone again. And JBL, because he's a puss, was like, Ron Simmons has been putting me up to it. And he's like, and apparently Mark Henry was like, I don't care who's been putting it up to you. I found you. It stops now. And then it was just like, and Mark Henry was like, and they haven't bothered me since. And then people were like, what would you have done to John Bradshaw Layfield? And he's just like, murdered him. And you're like, yeah, he is the world's strongest man. You understand that Brock Lesnar, not as strong as fucking Mark Henry was at one point, and only in wrestling,
he still puts his numbers up there, and he's like in his 50s, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's why wrestling is so fucking funny. Where it's like, yeah, the world champion will go bully this legitimate Olympic athlete. Like, are you fucking insane? It's the same thing when they're like, if Kurt Angle doesn't cooperate, we might have to break his leg. No, I think you'd be I would love to see you fucking try, you fucking lunatic. Like, you know the story of Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero got into a fight backstage, and how it started was Eddie Guerrero tried to sweep Kurt Angle's legs, and Kurt Angle was like, I'm an Olympic wrestler. What are you doing? Like, literally just like, and then snatched him in a hold, and Eddie got angry. He was like, what are you doing real wrestling moves? Like, what the fuck? It's fucking insane. Wrestlers are so crazy.
Yeah, it's the same thing as we talked about, and has been mentioned before, the Taz, Rob Van Dam thing, where, like, I mean, people forget this. Like, fucking Booker T kicked the shit out of Batista, and that's how Batista lost his whole push.
Oh, that's so satisfying as well.
Yeah, and then also the Jericho Goldberg real fight, where it's like, Goldberg just gets really mad and then goes like, props to Goldberg, because there's also WWE footage of Matt Riddle made fun of Goldberg, and then Goldberg like goes to like fight him or something, and then Matt Riddle's like kind of says like, what are you doing? I'm literally fought in a cage before, and you're a 50-year-old football player.
I mean,
you know,
my favorite one, and I don't like him as a guy, but the Jericho Brock Lesnar fight is my personal favorite, because I understand it's a very specific Canadian rage. Only a Canadian man will go, I'm going to lose this fight, but I'm going to hurt you. And that's only because there's a weird, like, I'm from the winter, my friend. We're none of us are getting out of this alive, but some of us will live to the next winter.
Yeah. I'm going to bruise you while you force me to suck my own ribcage.
Yeah.
Choking to death on my own ribcage. But I punched you in the eye.
But you know what it was, which was Brock Lesnar comes back. He is intentionally bloodied Randy Orton with an elbow. Chris Jericho wants to know if that was on purpose, or if that was done like he was ordered to do it by Vince McMahon, which he was ordered to do it by Vince McMahon. Brock Lesnar calls him the other F word. And Chris Jericho's response is to just start grabbing Brock Lesnar and say, I'm going to bite your nose off, which I'm just like, I just really like where it's just like.
That's old school wrestling,
let's fucking
though.
go. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I got to tell you, that's what you want from the son of an NHL player right there, which is like, I'm 5'1", that guy's 6'8". Fuck it, let's go. Let's just like, I'm from Winnipeg. I'm from Winnipeg. I know that was yelled.
This is why I think 50s pro wrestlers are the greatest street fighters of all time, is because they were all actual amateur wrestlers minimum. And the other thing was they would take you down and they didn't know how to punch. So they were literally taught to just gouge your fucking eyes. So imagine like you get double legged off and you're like, your hands are behind your head. You're like, ow, the back of my head. And then just a man with thumbs for all fingers just trying to scoop your fucking eyeballs out.
And it's the 50s. Remember this, everyone.
It's the 50s.
So you've never stretched. You're a 40-year-old man in a bar.
You've also been in fights like nonstop.
No, but
That's the other thing about the 50s.
But these are 50s stand-up fights. These are like, well, you've had 8 stubbies and someone throws them at you. Like, it's not the same as Danny Hodge, a man who's basically a cobra made of
avoiding
steel.
A punching makes you a full gay guy. You avoided a punch?
Yeah.
You're no longer allowed to box.
Oh, you avoided a punch? Yeah, this bar's for adults only. The babies can have milk in the parking lot.
Hand your identification over to the bartender. They are deputized to change your gender to feminine, sir, because you should not avoid any contact.
You are no longer allowed to drive. What? Women aren't allowed to drive?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
you're not drunk enough to drive. Get back in that bar.
Yeah, exactly. Have some more drinks. Jesus Christ. Breezango.
Fandango.
Yes. We were about to do the fashion files. Basically, maintain a career on WWE.com. They make a big resurgence in NXT as a tag team. They win the NXT tag titles and are eventually booted during the Great Purge in the wake of COVID. He lands on his feet in Impact as the Dirty Dango, which is just Fandango, but I might show you my cock. And he is trained. It might happen.
I show my cock now.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, greatest answer to why are you called Dirty Dango? Vince McMahon does not own the copyright to Dirty Dango. I was just like, yep, I like the. What's your gimmick? Avoiding lawsuits. Oh, Jesus.
I really like it, yeah. I mean, obviously we want to see. I would love to see Fandango have a New Japan run where he dances and then just completely takes that character and does chops for 90 minutes and then dances again with his chest fully bleeding.
Oh, that would be so good. I would like to see a Fandango in a death match. Barbed wire.
Oh yeah, nonsensical. They bring him in the main event because he's from WWE and AEW, and then he just gets stabbed repeatedly by John Moxley.
Yeah, oh my God!
Dances while he dies.
Yeah, that would. Dude, I mean, it's so fun.
Tony Khan paid $900,000 for his theme song, and now Fandango's on top of a half-full arena in Biloxi getting stabbed by John Moxley.
So one of the rumors of AEW is the reason why John Moxley has such power is him and Tony Khan like doing blow together. That's a rumor I read on the internet about 2.5 years ago. And I think about what the fuck must that room be like? Just like John Moxley, a man who seems like he has no chat whatsoever. Hey, my wife has a fucking pooper that's good to look at. And then Tony Khan.
John Moxley has some chat to him.
No, he doesn't have. No, say what you want about Steve Austin. Steve Austin does seem like a fun guy to talk to, and their interview is one of the most fucking just a man in a white tap-out shirt and wet hair, aggressively annoyed at what seems like a reasonably fun guy to talk to.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I do like that John Moxley is bald now and he went from looking like a bartender to a bartender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, same bar, very different clientele post-vaccine.
He looks like, he does look like he went to he looks like within the span of him watching him on television, we've seen him graduate from high school and then reappear as a guy who's like not doing so well at his job.
Yeah, but it's one of those like, oh no, he's doing okay at the job, he's not doing so well with the other employees.
Yeah, I wish he would rebrand like as a guy who's like just fully embraced not being fun. Like John Moxley's
completely agree
with
with
you.
you.
What are you going to do when you fight Cesaro? What are you going to do when you fight Claudio Castagnoli? Well, the highway was bunged up here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
They need to basically make John Moxley the guy who fucked a lot of ladies and was disrespectful, but now has a daughter, so he's overcompensating by trying to be a real suburban dad. He would be the biggest heel ever. I'm actually not going to wrestle because I need to FaceTime my daughter, even though my wife's being a fucking asshole right now. Like that.
Oh yeah, he brings up his wife and
all the time, and like
my wife's on my fucking ass.
Yeah, exactly. You want to know why I have this belt? Because I'm fucking good at this, or fuck off.
All the meals my wife makes me don't have enough nutrients. That's why I was weak and I lost to Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, you want to know why I didn't do well in that match? Because my fucking daughter, yeah, she's 6 months old and teething, but Jesus fucking Christ, I need some me time.
How are you supposed to beat off with a 6-month-old in the room?
Yeah,
anyway?
exactly. I'm not
supposed
supposed to fuck my wife with the baby in the room, but my fucking wife won't leave the baby alone, and I need to fuck. What do you want me to fucking do? That would be
that's his promo.
He would be the greatest if he's just literally, because every AEW fan has had one shitty stepdad. If he came out as just like, hey, I'm here to fuck your mom, don't sit in my chair, literally greatest, that would turn around that championship run in 30 fucking seconds. Everyone, greatest heel ever. If they literally just got him managed by Ric Flair
if his character was 90s stepdad, yeah,
oh
exactly.
my God, just smoking an Export A.
Your mom sucked my dick in the truck.
Yeah.
Now I got to take you to a ball game.
Yeah. Oh my God. I will always remember a friend of mine's stepdad. I remember once, this is how he disciplined. You know, I didn't ask for kids when I met your mom. That was something that he would yell at his stepkids. But what's so much better, he had 2 kids of his own in that family, and he would say that to them as well. Oh my God, that guy stinks.
I like that. Anyway, John, you know what? It's time for us to end this. Thank you guys so much for listening. Rate, review, and rate. we'll have our Patreon up soon. I've taken down all the tiers. It's free right now. It'll be free for a couple months before we press button called please give us money, please.
Yeah.
So while this is up, rate and review and subscribe and rate. Next week we'll be talking about 3 matches that Raven had versus Abyss.
Yes. Christopher Park, can he do the impossible and get a victory over Raven? Here's a spoiler. No.
Here's what I like, though. Here's what I like about Abyss versus Raven. If anyone thinks that the gore and everything in AEW is non-memorable and needless and unnecessary, you're about to get a lesson in TNA, my friend. The originator of, hey, we've just decided this match is a scaffold match, and what's beneath the scaffold? A bed of nails.
Yeah,
Don't worry, it's not stunt nails. Someone's actually going to die, and yes, they are a pillhead.
It's TNA. It's 2008. This match is we are going to burn your family literally alive on pay-per-view match.
Jeff Hardy's house got on fire. That was because of a Monsters Ball match.
Yeah, Don West is going to fully sell the bits of skull that are the leftover remains of your family after a debilitating and brutal fire, and he is not cutting you in on the profits. Welcome to TNA in 2009. Got to tell you this, way better than WWE 2013 through 2019.
That's true. I mean, the Benoit tragedy, that was a vignette for TNA that they abandoned.
People don't realize that was actually to set up a lockdown 6 sides of steel match between Dusty Rhodes and Jim Cornette. In fact,
he was actually supposed to debut as Rob Terry's manager, Benoit was.
Yeah, there was a brief discussion that Chris Benoit's son, I believe Daniel Benoit, was actually going to be the mascot for Abyss against Raven, but Raven luckily snuck into the house and made sure that, I don't want to speak too graphically, but let's just say Abyss got the loss. You know what I mean?
Jeez. Okay, there we go. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be there to trivialize more horrific events next week. Raven versus Abyss.
Whoa.